Good morning. Right, how did we go on? Well, phone Paul the other day. Can't remember when it was. But he's got a problem. He's got a problem on a distribution system, and he's helping the girls out in the. I don't know the layout of his building. He's not told me exactly where he's working at, what he's doing, what the company does. Well, they're doing some distribution, and he's told me they've got a problem in that when there's an associated order. I think this is what he said. When they're packaging a delivery and there's an outstanding delivery item, that they're having problems reconciling that, and it's having to run some native SQL to find out what should be delivered. So I don't know how he's going about that actually. There's a lot of deliveries being done, there's a lot of reports being done. They'll be very busy. Depends how many people are working on packing, depending on the businesses. Don't really see how it's working there. If it's a very, very busy business, every order is having to run a one-off report to find out if there's an associated order. I don't know how he's doing it. But I've not really spoken to him. I can only use my imagination. So I'm going to imagine that there's a factory that's doing a build that has a product, or it somehow buys in goods that then redistributes it. So we've got a stock recording problem here of finding stock for people who to do a delivery, and it's a shortages problem in that there's been a delivery already and there's been a shortage. Now we have to ask questions. What is the nature of the business? How does it operate? When it produces a picking list, when you've got an order form, when you've got an order and you produce a picking list for that order, what happens if everything on that order cannot be serviced? And on that order, is there packages, i.e. Something that has multiple parts to it? And what happens if one of those parts within the package is not available? So I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about having a solution that services somebody that does have that sort of scenario. And we have to ask the questions. What do you do when there is a shortage? Do you deliver immediately and advise the customer that there is a shortage, or do you store the part order until the shortage is available and ship the whole thing? So with that in mind, I'm going to be doing some analysis now, and if you look at behind me, you can see on my wall 2 pieces of paper, one slightly skew width, and on there it's got Foundation Consulting, and I'm going to write on it now Foundation Computing, because I got up I did well last night. I did a video for Paul at about 11 o'clock, and I went to bed at 11:30. I slept well till about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I got up and I started to do some foundation consulting on what I'd said in the video, to do some golf work for Tommy Armour golf book that I'm working on. Now Paul needed some psychology stuff. I've got this book here, Working Organisational Psychology, which I showed you yesterday, and I'll turn to page 56, which has got a diagram in it there, and the diagram has 3 triangles: things, data and people. High priority, medium priority and low priority. Now in people, at one point A it's got helping and one point B serving. That's what Paul's doing at the moment. He's helping people out and he's serving people out. On people at level 7, he should be doing mentoring and negotiating and supervising, and that's where he's got to get to. So I've noted that out, and I've documented that diagram. The diagram has 3 topics: things, which has described what he's got a problem. We've got a disaster recovery problem now. This is a disaster for a business. The business is not operating as it should do. It's got data, which is about analysing the system. It's got people. The 4th triangle, which is not there in the book, Work and Organisation Psychology, relates to costs. But whatever you do in a business affects costs. Paul's got a problem here that he's got to provide a system, and there needs to be a cost-benefit analysis. He needs to sit down and think very carefully about what he's doing and about the way forward. And he's got to do a post-it, nothing more than a post-it, to say, I can't resolve the problem to this system. The system is incorrectly designed. I need to provide you with something urgently. I need to provide you something within the week. This is a disaster recovery task. I can undertake the task and cost it under training. I can do it myself under training, and I can work at home in my own time and at weekend, logging it down to training. And I can provide you with a system that you should be able to look at to see if you can work with. You then have to make the decision what we do, whether I'm here to support your Power BI and produce reports using your current system, and then we have to sit down and define what we need to do, because we've got disaster recovery and we have to apply a class of tasks to do it. Whether it's an A1 task, we do it straight away, a B task, it's not that important and it can be done and needs to be planned ahead, or a C task that it can be done when I'm quiet and got nothing to do. It can be done as a training task, as I'm taking on new languages. I can cost it under T. There's no budget to do anything. There's a way that this project can be done. It can be done as training. It can be done as research and development. It can be done as disaster recovery. But you've got a problem, that you've got a business that's not operating as it should do. So we're into thinking about tasks. So on my second piece of paper on the board there, I've got a database. One database, which is a task database. Now you've got to do an infrastructure in work. You've got to decide what you can do in work. And you decided that you want to do MVC. So you've got to do this in work, and you've got to do a one database table to do task recording. Because if you put a new system in, people are going to have to do different things, and you're going to have to do a project called Xenophon. Xenophon is working from home. Thank you, David. Here's my cup of tea. Thank you for that, David. Xenophon is working from home using ProtoPage to do a user manual for your new system. You identify what everybody needs to do on your new system. There'll be a task list, and you want to develop a task list now because you don't want to do ProtoPage in the business. That's an interim solution whilst you've got nothing, right? You want a database where you can start recording tasks so you can refer to it in a user manual. You people in systems nowadays, you produce systems and don't produce user manuals. You have to shake yourself up and get something done. I just worked on an environment without a user manual. It was terrible. I ended up leaving. Well, I'll tell you the story how I left. I didn't leave. It got to such a state that I raised myself into a profile where I had to get myself dismissed, and I worked it out that I got dismissed. And the reason why I wanted to get dismissed is that I could claim benefits and work from home. But I just worked in a position for 4 years, which was really quite intolerable. And you're in the same position now, Paul. You're in a position where you're helping people out, but if you go on with that, working that for the next 4 years, you're going to be very, very unhappy. So you need to bite on the bullet. And the book is Work and Organisation Psychology, a European Perspective, and it's edited by Nick Chmiel, Chmiel. It's by Blackwell Publications, and the ISBN is, just get my glasses, ISBN 0631 206 76-0. That's 0-631 206 76-0. Now I'll be looking at this over the next couple of days as I'm doing a psychology course to see if there's anything in here related to what you're doing. And I'm just looking at a table here. Feelings contingency theory, most favourable situation from the leader, least favourable situation from the leader. And it lists good atmosphere, task structure, leader position power, desirable leader. So that's on page 285. Right. Post-it going in. Top priority post-it. Contact John Watson, golf professional. Right, so that's in a safe place. That's good. Top priority, page 285, disaster recovery. Document feelings contingency theory in my psychology website. So I'll get on now with doing a psychology website of working organisation psychology, and I'll start working through that with a viewpoint that we need to look at what situation in this when you've got a company with a disaster, and how leadership should come out of the ranks to pull people out of a disaster. And that'll be my thesis work that I should write up for the Open University, that in the case of disaster everybody should pull together and leadership should come out of wherever it shows itself. Now you're in a position now, Paul. This video is getting up to 12 minutes. I'm not going to go more than 15 minutes because you'll get bored with me. Right, I told you about Q Core. I'm now going to be documenting and I'm going to be programming Q Core. The tables that are required for Q Core. That's your access control for your system. If you create a system, you need to put a base down. You need to put a base foundation. I'm going to tell you a story when I'm on next about your dad, John Arnold Edwards, and how John and Arnold Edwards and me used to talk together about business. So I'm going to tell you about the manufacturing processes at Ferrari Computers and how John got his systems up and running. I'm going to tell you about a stock recording problem that John had when Durka closed. Right, so we'll have a light relief video talking about your dad, talking about what we used to do. We can talk about Q, and I'll do a 15-minute video of that. So if you've got your bus, you want to show anybody a 15-minute video about what you do, what you're about, I'll do that now, because you're much better than what you're doing running individual SQL reports. You should be doing a rebuild now. You should be deep into it. So it's coming up to 14 minutes. I'm going to stop now and have a cup of tea. Right. Oh yes, have a look at protopage.com Golf 2020, which is where this video is going to be placed. I've got my stripy shirt on, so that's where my stripy shirt video is going to go. I did the first one and put it in protopage one, a day in the life 2020. If you look at my other videos there, that's protopage.com, a day in the life 2020. That's my short videos of what I'm doing today, like reading books and what books I'm reading and what I'm sitting around with. Just a little bit of fun. But this is serious stuff. So we've got Golf 2020, and it might change tomorrow, which is New Year's Day, to Golf 2120. And then we've got a project called Zeus, which is starting then, and a project called TrainIT, which is starting then, and a project called Xenophon, which is starting then. In fact, I think we don't need any more proto-based websites. You can do Golf 2120 and communicate back to me using that. I don't need to do any more. I'll do Golf 2120 within Golf 2020. Right, so there's 3 projects: TrainIT, Xenophon, and Zeus. Zeus is your main distributor system. TrainIT is you should be recording about 20% of your time now to training. You're in a new job on new stuff. You should be aiming to do 80% of your work on production work for the boss and 20% of personal development. You should agree that with your boss for you to have freedom to do what you want within that 20%, providing you're actually delivering stuff for the business. Same again, TrainIT. So that's training. Xenophon is working from home, because you can't expect your boss to be giving you time to train and work when you're not working from home. And you can do this exercise, this Zeus exercise, as part of your bee sitting. You can do it for Joby, so she'll need it. So that's called synergy. And synergy means you're working for one, but you're delivering to 2 people. In fact, your synergy is you're delivering to 3 people. You're delivering to me for my golf, Joby for her emporium, and now to your business for your disaster recovery. Now, you should be able to find time to do that. You're only working 40 hours a week, and you've got 20 hours a day time. So you only need 4 hours sleep a night. You've got 20 hours a day to get into something substantial. And then when you've done it, we'll have a package to sell. And that way we might make some money. Right, I've done all the allotted time scale. That's 17 minutes, 17 seconds. I'll speak to you later.